Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the Baker County Land Planning Agency meeting for Thursday, January 8th, 2026. It is now 6 p.m. If everybody could join us for the prayer and for the pledge, please. One sec. I had. Dear Heavenly Father, as we welcome 2026, please guide our steps and guard our hearts. Grant us the wisdom to make righteous choices and the strength to face challenges. May your peace, fill our homes, our community, and our nation. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. For anybody that wants to have public comments on any of the agenda items, there should be speaker cards in the back. Just fill that out, give it to Miss Julie, come up to the podium, announce yourself and your address, and then you're welcome to speak. And is there anybody here that is here for anything outside of LPA? Because tonight we're just doing LPA stuff, land planning. Okay, just wanted to give you that opportunity. All right, so next order of business, approval of the minutes from the November 13th meeting. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
I wanted to stain my vote for the variance on last month's meeting for the all-in storage.
Yep, and I've seen that. I've seen that letter and
Did that
everything.
last month, so just
Yes.
want to put that on record and make that clear.
Correct. Good call, sir. Okay. So do we have a motion for approval of the minutes?
Motion to approve. Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the minutes for the November 13th, 2025 LPA meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, Madam Director, to you.
All right, good evening. All right, so the first couple of items that you have have companions, so if it's okay with you, these first couple of applications I will present together instead of separately.
Absolutely.
All right, so your first application, you actually saw this a couple months back, but when you saw this application the first time, the request was for a higher density than what the request is now, so that's why this is going to look familiar. So this is for ordinance number 2025-37 with a request of agriculture B to very low density residential with a companion ordinance number 2025-38, a rezoning request from agriculture 7.5 to residential conventional mobile home 2.5. So this property is located off of Wilbanks Lane, which comes off of Otis Yarborough Road on the 23C side. So you'll see that's kind of the curve of 23C, Otis Yarborough, and then it's the first road off to this side. So it is a 7.51 acre parcel. Again, the land use is Ag B and zoning is Ag 7.5. Currently, the property is in compliance with current zoning standards. However, the applicant intends to subdivide the property in the future between themselves and their children. What that's going to look like is 2 lots right now, and down the road, if their son would like to be on the property as well, we would do a family lot at that time. The RCMH 2.5 would allow them to do a family lot from one of those parcels that would be created. So you can see from the maps here, Wilbanks kind of splits the area there. You'll see on one side there's very low density residential and agriculture B on the other, and then RCMH 1 and Ag 7.5 on the other side. So the original application that you saw previously did have a request of RCMH 1 because that is kind of what seemed compatible with the area. But after some conversations with the commissioners, they felt that we should maybe redirect to a 2.5 as to not allow this area to be a higher dense area than splitting this into two pieces. So that's why you're seeing an amended application now from a 1 acre request to now a 2.5 acre request. So again, the parcel's currently in compliance with standards. There is an easement. Wilbanks Lane is an easement. It's a non-exclusive easement. So that has a few more rights than a typical easement. So you'll see here, this is the parcels that would be created. You'll see parcel 1 there, and then parcel 2 here. One would be for the parents, and then one would be for their daughter. And there is an easement that would go along the center of the two here for ingress and egress off of Wilbanks. So staff does recommend approval. Let me know if you have any questions. The property owners are here if you have questions for them.
You had mentioned that the county commissioner discussion was to make larger parcels to decrease the density in the area.
Well, so with the original request of RCMH 1 and this being a 7.5 acre parcel, if things happen, and if the family decided to change their mind, that's 7 acres that, a process would be necessary, of course, to create 7 lots, but there would be density for 7 lots or 7 houses there. Since that's not truly the intent of the property owners, the discussion was then, let's kind of take this back. Let's look at big picture. How can we get the family where they would like to be without going to a 1 acre density?
Okay, but that was spawned by the county commissioners.
Yes.
Okay, so
that was from their direction.
So my comment to them, from me to you, through to them, is can we have a conversation with them so we're not having to take the landowner back and forth through this thing where there's, we've approved something, then they said, maybe not. We don't want to have that kind of density in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have maybe a workshop or something for all of us to be on the same page. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah, I think that's a conversation that can be had.
Well, and maybe as we work through the comp plan, maybe we can, in those comp plan workshops, maybe that's the place for it.
Right.
But I'm just saying that we need to be consistent as an community. We're all volunteer board here. They're elected, good and well, but I'd like us all to have the same vision of where we're going.
Right.
I think the intuitive guidance from that is to maintain the largest zoning capable to achieve the objective, right?
Okay, that makes sense.
I like it.
All right. It's not that I'm opposed to it.
Oh, no,
It's
I
just
understand. Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So comments from the board?
Questions, comments?
Do we have any motion?
Motion to approve ordinance number 2025-37.
And is there a second? Okay, moved and seconded to approve ordinance number 2025-37, small scale land use amendment from Ag B to very low density residential. And the companion rezoning, are we doing this? Well, let's vote on that one first. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, that's approved. And then do we have a motion for the companion rezoning from Ag 7.5 to RCMH 2.5?
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the companion rezoning from Ag 7.5 to residential conventional mobile home RCMH 2.5. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Both pass.
Okay, the next two are companions as well, so I'll present them together if that's okay with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the next two applications we have for ordinance number 2025-40, a small-scale land use amendment with a request of agriculture B to very low-density residential,
Yep.
with the companion ordinance 2025-41 with a rezoning request of agriculture 7.5 to residential conventional mobile home 2.5. So this parcel is located off of Bertha May Harris Road, which is on the corner of Bertha May Harris and Cruz Road, towards the 127 end of Cruz Road. So the entire parcel is 27.66 acres, but we tonight are only discussing 2.99 acres of that parcel. So the entirety of the parcel is Ag B and Ag 7.5. Would currently be in compliance with all standards. There is currently a mobile home on the property now, towards the front road frontage side of the parcel. So the intent of the property owner is to subdivide and sell 2.99 acres with that mobile home, and then build a home on the remaining acreage. So that's why you only see a change for a portion of the property. It's only their intent to change the land use and zoning on the portion of the property that is being sold. You'll see here, there is a good portion of this property that's in the flood zone. So of course, when we get to, in the future, any sort of building permits, we'll have to follow all of those FEMA regulations for building. You'll see one side of Bertha May Harris has an Ag 7.5 zoning. The other side has RCMH 2.5. Cruz Road kind of has some pockets of each. It was our opinion that this did fit the culture of the area, with two sides of this parcel being zoned RCMH 2.5 and having that very low density residential land use. Again, we are only discussing the 2.99 acres. You'll see here's a survey of the 2.99 acres. So this would be the Cruz Road side. This would be the Bertha May Harris side. And then you'll see that the mobile home is on this piece that's being sold. You'll see there is the flood line there. So a portion of what's being sold is within the flood zone as well. But the structure does lie outside of the flood zone. Any additional or any intent to subdivide in the future would require an additional process. This process would only allow them to take off that 2.99 acres. This would be the one split that would be allowed. Anything further would require some sort of additional process. Staff recommends approval, and if you have questions.
Okay, comments from the board? Can you go back one slide, please?
Sure.
Thank you. And which piece of property is this?
So it is this piece
Okay.
here, kind of the
I
odd
couldn't see it
shape
in
there.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, never mind. I'm on the same page.
Yeah.
I just didn't see it in the drawing here. Thanks.
Yeah, some of those colors are kind of bright, and sometimes it does make them a little hard to see.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Huh? Okay, coming back to the board. What's the pleasure of the board?
Which one are we looking at first? Is this the?
The ordinance 2025-38 rezoning.
No, 40, the land use amendment.
Well, 40.
Yep, so I'm
Yep.
motion to approve 2025-40 small scale land use amendment.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded for ordinance number 2025-40, small-scale land use amendment from Ag B to very low-density residential. All in favor? Say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. And then we've got the companion rezoning to rezone from Ag 7.5 to RCMH 2.5. All in favor?
Motion to approve ordinance number 2025-41, rezoning.
Second.
Second. Man, I'm getting ahead of myself tonight. Sorry. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you, sorry about that. And talking about getting ahead of myself, I'd like to go back to the Davis application. I did not reach out to you guys. Did you guys have any comments? I just kind of pushed it right through, just got chatting and, all right, just wanted to make sure I didn't overlook you. Sorry about that. On a roll tonight, I guess. All right, next, ma'am.
All right, so the next application you have, you saw a similar application last year. This is for subdivision replat. It is for part of Kyler Field. When the Kyler Field subdivision was platted back in 1992, there were 2 blocks of the subdivision that were left whole. So those 2 blocks that were left whole, they were Block 4 and Block 5. And they both had notations on those blocks that said the block will be reserved for future use to develop lots of 1 acre or more. So from 1992 to currently, those stayed intact as large tracts, large blocks. So specifically tonight, we're looking at Block 4. Block 4 is 13.91 acres. This parcel and the entire subdivision has a land use of very low density residential and a zoning of residential conventional 1. So only site-built homes are allowed, no sort of mobile homes. So if you look, this is kind of the last block there. So you'll see it is zoned agriculture on 2 sides, but that is outside of the subdivision. And then on the other 2 sides, you'll see the same land use and zoning. And none of this parcel is within the FEMA flood zone. So you'll see here, that's the notation from the original plat, where it shows Block 4 to be reserved for future use. So the intent of the applicant you see on the other side there. So you'll see there's 3 lots, all of which are 1 acre or more. The one labeled as parcel C, you'll see that it's 7 acres. That is the home of the applicant. And it is their intention to keep that, and then subdivide the back portion into just over 4 acres and just over 2 acres. So that's what the breakout of this block would look like. There's just a kind of a larger image to show all of the easements and everything that are associated with that block. It definitely seems that it was the intent of the people who created the Kyler Field subdivision in the 90s to eventually have this with as more than 1 lot, of course. Last year we did Block 5, and I think we created 6 lots out of Block 5, while this one's only 3. So the proposed replat would create 3 residential lots instead of 1. All would meet current standards. So let me know if you have any questions. This is one we've had some conversation recently between a few of us and our general counsel. And the subdivision applications and replat applications, unless we are asking for an exemption to a requirement, you guys do have the final authority on that. So in this case, they're not asking for any kind of exemption at all. So you guys would be the final decision.
Comments from the board? Okay, any public comments? All right, back to the board.
If I may.
Yes, ma'am.
If I may note too, just like any other replat or subdivision application, they will still have to go through the actual platting process.
Yes.
So I just wanted to make that clear that there is still a platting process involved where it'll be reviewed civilly and by our surveys.
And thank you
things
for
like
that clarification, because I just assumed that, but
Yes.
that's me assuming. And we've done this before out here in Kyler as well.
Right.
So-
We, like I said, we did Block 5 last year.
and a few others before that, but yeah, I'm good with it. You guys?
No questions?
Okay. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve subdivision replat for preliminary and final development plan review.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. All right.
All right, so this is the last application we have tonight. It is an application for subdivision development for preliminary and final review. Again, like we were just speaking, this is for approval of the subdivision and the approval of the number of lots and layout of lots. But this will still have to go through the plating process with our civil engineer and surveyor, fire rescue, all of those different entities that are part of that. So this is just for the approval of the subdivision. So this parcel, it's actually two parcels together. It is this large piece here, and then there is a little tiny strip. I say tiny, it looks tiny on here, but it's actually a lot larger in actual, when you're out there. But the section line for this area is right here. And so the parcels are actually in two different sections. So we're looking at both of these together, but here and here. We're looking at 27.98 of the 160 acres. So these two parcels together are 160 acres. We are looking at the 27.98 acres that are in this area here, that are just south of Leon Dobson Road.
Yep, so those are we're just talking about the 27 acres that face Leon Dobson
Yes,
Road.
yes, the road
So now I gotta move to
frontage-
Baxter.
Yes, the road frontage along Leon Dobson is what we're looking at.
Yes.
So this parcel it's on the corner of 127 and Leon Dobson, so we're looking at that corner. So currently, it has a land use of Ag A and B. The land use kind of splits it in the middle, close to the middle, with a zoning of Ag 10 and Ag 7.5. The applicant intends to record a platted subdivision with 3 subdivision lots. They are not proposing to develop them in any way. The lots, once they're recorded, would be available for individual purpose and the individual purchase, and the buyers would develop them then. You can see it's kind of that corner. There's one corner there that has the Ag 7.5 and Ag B zoning and land use, and then the rest is Ag 10 and Ag A. You'll see this parcel does, the FEMA flood zone does come down in this parcel a good bit. So when we get to a building, any building stage, whether it was the current property owners or future property owners, we'll have to look to see where those structures are going to be built, and then follow anything necessary. That information will be on the plat. When the plat's recorded, it'll show that area is within that FEMA flood zone. So here is kind of just a snapshot from the survey. So if you look, here is 127. So Leon Dobson is here along the parcel. So lot 1, the intention is 7.76 acres, and that's because that is where that line for Ag 10 and Ag 7.5 is. So one of these lots would lie within the Ag 7.5, and then the other 2 lots are just over 10 acres, and they are within the Ag 10 zoning. So that's kind of where that line is here, and that's why you see 1 7.5 and 2 10s. So again, the final plat would need to be approved and signed and recorded prior to any sort of improvements being done, and before they could sell the individual lots. That would have to be done as well. It's the intention of the property owners to keep the rest of the property as their for their family and their own personal use. Let me know if you have any questions.
So with this request for a subdivision development,
Mm-hmm.
I understand all that, and I, very familiar with that area because I just live right on down the road from that. That said, and I don't remember and I didn't look it up, do we have any kind of buffering requirements or anything for subdivisions against another property? I know commercially we do, but
Not for this land use and zoning, you would not see those.
okay.
You're gonna have those WUI requirements are gonna come in.
Yep.
But that's gonna be it. That's gonna be the only.
Okay.
There's not anything
All right,
additional.
just
Yeah.
buyer beware, that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
there's not anything additional.
Okay. All right, comments from the board?
This is right down from where Rayonier's busting up.
It
Just
is.
pretty much, yeah.
It is.
Rayonier is on the other end of Leon
Same
Dobson.
deal.
So in the last 6 months, you've seen 2 different Rayonier projects, and honestly, this is in between the 2 projects.
Yes.
One of those was along 124, that would be just south of here, and then the other was just a little north of here along 127. So this kind of falls in between those 2.
That's why I
Very,
said I'm moving to Baxter.
Yeah, very similar to those applications. Those applications did go through the exemption to subdivision process. There were some exemptions that they were asking for, but in this case, there's no exemptions being asked for. But the layout is very similar.
Okay, comments from the board? Any public comments? There's a gentleman that came in with a briefcase and all, did he just walk back out?
He did.
Oh, okay, I didn't see
The
him.
last item on the
Oh. Okay, no public comments. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve subdivision for development review preliminary final.
second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second for subdivision development review, preliminary and final for B&N Farm Estates. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay,
So that is the last application I have for you.
short and sweet.
Yes, so
And-
you heard that you were ready to go.
I looked at it online.
We have Lady from Bowman tonight. We will see you on.
Yeah, so if you go down
Right
to,
across from your house. At least I'll have to turn down his road.
yeah, if you go down Leon Dobson Road and then come to Jack Duggar, I'm on Jack Duggar, so I got Rainier out here and then Rainier north of us, and now this. I'm like, God dang, we're getting a little crowded.
So the next item is the election of the board chair and vice chair. I had some conversations this week with our general counsel, and he has asked that we move this to next meeting so that our current chair and vice chair could both be here. Gabe was out of town and was not going to make it back in time for the meeting tonight. So if that's okay with you guys, we will move that to next month.
Just the voting, or can we do the nominations tonight, or wait until he's here for nominations?
That's up to you. If you guys have a nomination, if you want to go ahead and put your nomination on the record, and then that gives everybody time to mill over it, or if you want to wait, from talking to Gabe, he said he was open to any nominations that you guys made. He did not share any nominations with me, but
Well, then I guess maybe as chair, I would say, why don't we just all wait and come back? So, giving respect to the vice chair, and we can do that. And I'm glad to see that we're doing this. I thank you guys for all the support and everything that for my second immediate term. I mean, I've been chairman a couple times, but back to back was kind of unusual, and I'm looking forward to getting some new folks in here.
You're not going for a three-peat?
so what
No,
I'm
no.
hearing,
Let's get somebody else up here.
what I'm hearing
Change
is
your
Greg
blood.
saying do not nominate him. He does.
Yeah.
he
I'll
said
sit
think
on the other
outside-
side
he
and
said
throw
think
rocks.
outside of the box. So
Yeah. I don't know that we've got a
How do you feel about
limitation.
Vice chair.
All right, well, anyways, okay, so I'm good with it, moving it to the February meeting if you guys are.
I'm good with that.
That makes sense.
Okay.
And I meant to call you. I've been busy all week, and I was like,
Well, driving over here, I realized that I did not respond to your email, so.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to bring that up.
Well, I thought of it while I was driving over here, so yeah, I apologize.
No worries. Okay, anything else?
I am meeting next week with North Florida Professional Services for us to schedule the first workshop. The first workshop for our comp plan amendment, it's going to be just open to the public. It's not going to be on the same day as LPA or commission. That way, everybody, will be open to come. We're looking at something that is probably around 4 hours, starting at like 3 and ending at like 7. That way, people who need to come before 5 would have an opportunity to come before 5, but that still leaves it open for after 5 if people need to come after work. And we'll have a presentation, kind of explains what we're doing, what we're asking for, what we need public input for. We've talked about possibly, even if we need to give a presentation, like maybe at 3 and at 5, to kind of break it up. We're open to doing that. So we're supposed to get with Sarah one day next week and find out. We want to make sure it's on
So
their
so
calendar.
once you finalize that, will the agenda be published? And then the second part of my question is this them just presenting the legislative updates to the comp plan,
So
or is
it
this all
will-
the other workshop stuff?
No,
that
so
we've
this is
been-
going to be open for public comment. So we're not going to be presenting the changes yet.
Yep.
This is going to be the public input portion for
We're just going to have one
residents to-
session for public input?
there may be more than one.
Okay.
That's just the start.
I would
Yes,
anticipate more
yes,
than one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, just the start. I would look for that to happen within the next month. Whatever our advertisement period is for that. So like our land use and zoning changes, normally we have like a 21-day advertisement period. If that's the case with this, we have advertisements ready to go as soon as we
So
make that
can we
decision, so.
maybe be a little, not saying that you're not proactive, don't think that. But can we put together an agenda for the following months and say, here's what we're going to do, so we only have to advertise it once maybe and put it out there, or do we have to re-advertise every 30 days? Because
Some of it's gonna have to be re-advertised, because if we change the structure of the meeting, like if one is considered a workshop for public comment and the other is a board workshop,
Yeah.
those may have to be advertised separately.
okay, and you've got all the notes that we've had for the past couple of
We
years
do,
talking about
And
all the
of
agenda
that-
items.
All of that's been given to North Florida Professional Services
Okay.
as well. So they have, as soon as we're done with that legislative side of things, we already have that information to be rolling into it.
All right.
And I'm sure we're gonna give a breakdown of our proposed changes so far to the general public. That way, I'm sure some of their concerns are the same as ours.
I'm sure of that, but, I would like to, just as a chairman and sitting here for a while, make sure that we're strategically thinking of where we want to go with this. We've had different subdivision applications come in, and do we have requirements for solar fields, the barn dominiums, or the thing here east of town, the agri-hood, and be thinking about all of that stuff.
Absolutely.
Not just what we need to check in the box.
Right.
I think we're on the same page.
We are. Everything you named is on my list.
All right.
So as soon as I have a date and as soon as I have a date, I'll give you that date first. And then once we start working on an agenda, we can kind of push that out to you. And if you've got things you want to see added or anything like that, you can.
Well,
let me
that,
know.
and can we also submit, once you push things out, So we as a board can go back to Municode or whatever we need to, or look at old minutes or notes. If that can be pushed out, maybe we can submit comments to you
Right.
through
Yes.
email.
Yes.
Instead of waiting to discuss it all at one time.
We can. So when we push out that advertising, or when we push out all of the advertisements, we don't have to have the agenda at that point.
Yeah,
So we can
understood.
push that advertisement out and then still be working on that agenda up until a few days before the meeting. So there will be definitely time for us to go back and forth and add and.
And I'd like to have,
alter.
maybe if we could request it, I don't know if they can make it with the current configuration of the county commissioners, but just like this application with the Davises, you know, there's some not push, but some negotiating going on back and forth there.
Right.
That we can sit down with those guys too and say, strategically, where do we want to go?
Right,
So we can make sure our comp plan accommodates that.
right. I agree.
Other thoughts, guys?
It's something we could have noticed in that meeting too, as far as the rezoning for that. Maybe we could have thought more ahead on that one, as
Yeah.
far as the
Yeah,
South
exactly.
Route Lake Harbor.
Well, and that's what I would,
Yeah.
that's, you know, we know growth is gonna come.
Yeah.
We need to be prepared for it. We don't want to get caught with our pants down. And, you know, we had an application out in Sanderson that met checked every box and crossed every T and dotted every I, but, you know, it's just not really what we wanted. So let's just make sure we're all on board with what we want for our community. And I'm gonna be sitting down a couple of chairs, so I'm gonna be digging into it and saying, what about this, what about that,
Right.
instead of facilitating the meeting.
Well, and two, most importantly, you know, whatever the vision for the county is, we want to make sure that that's what's in our comp plan.
Yes,
So that
absolutely.
when we're looking at applications and crossing our Ts and dotting our Is, that we're doing it literally by our book.
And with that, then we've got an objective measurement to say,
Absolutely.
yes, 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 nope, you don't meet this, and this is why.
Right.
So we can say no and point to a reason for saying no, or say yes, because this enhances the community overall. Okay?
Good.
All right, that's all I
The
have.
only other thing I have, I'm sorry, I did say that this last thing was the only other thing I have. Rural Counties Day is coming up later this month. I don't know if any of you have ever attended Rural Counties Day before, but it's held at the Capitol each year, in the courtyard. All of the rural counties in Florida, they set up booths, and you can kind of go around to each booth, see what the county has to offer, where they're growing. It's a really neat atmosphere. It's interesting to see all of the counties that are so similar to us all in one spot. And normally there's a lot of time for networking and talking to other LPA members, other board members, other county staff, you know, getting ideas where are they headed compared to us. So it's the, what did I tell you? The 22nd, yes.
January 22nd
January 22nd. It is on a Thursday.
in Tallahassee.
It is, yeah. It's in the courtyard.
Okay.
So if you just, they have a web page and several social media pages. Literally, if you just Google Rural Counties Day 2026, you shouldn't have any problem finding it.
So would we, if anybody, like I'd be interested, would we just ride over with you guys as county employees, or would just ride over there together?
So that's up to you. County staff, we generally will commute together. So we normally have a couple people from the city join us as well, because each county as a whole has an area. So if there are multiple jurisdictions within that county, they're still all together. So it's normally a couple of county staff and then a couple of people from the city as well. And yeah, commuting is definitely an option. We do have to go a little early to set up our booth. But yeah, carpooling's not a problem.
Okay. All right, thank you for that. I was going to ask about that because I thought it was next month, but thank you.
Yeah, it rotates, and it has to do with the legislative cycle or something. So it rotates from March to January. There's some
No
rhyme or
worries.
reason to it, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
And that's really all I have this time.
All right. Any other business? Meeting adjourned.